Cliff, nice to see you.
Good to see you,
again.
Terry.
Thank you. So, Cliff, talk to me about, it was such a great thing to see Mike Ferguson, the former DA, your previous successor, endorsed you. But tell me more about why you're the best candidate for this race.
The bottom line is it's my cumulative experience over the years. I started out in life as in a farm position, then a business manager, then a business owner, and then a probation officer in Nevada County. And then I was a line deputy, a trial attorney in both Sutter County and Nevada County. And while I was in Nevada County, I was working for Mike Ferguson, and he noticed my trial skills because I did an exceptional amount of trials in a short period of time I was working for him. And then he apparently recognized my leadership qualities. And when he was planning on retiring, he decided that maybe I should put my hat in the ring to run for the DA over the other district attorneys in the office. And I did, and prevailed in that race, and have been the district attorney since. And that's the start of it. But what really makes me qualified is not the last 12 years that I've been the district attorney, because anybody can stay in a job. It's what I've actually done in those last 12 years. I've really took the office and made a modern business atmosphere in there, prosecutor-oriented. I've saved the taxpayers a lot of money over the years by configuring the office, especially when we went through the Great Recession. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars just lopped off my budget. So I really had to be thoughtful about how I was going to reorganize and get the most use out of the resources that I had available to me. We did that. We continued successfully through that recession, and moving on. I built a state-of-the-art investigative system out of a unit into our district attorney's office. Started out with 3 investigators. We now have 7 investigators. We have state-of-the-art investigative tools that we assist all of the local jurisdictions with. We've built a cohesive office atmosphere where people actually like to come to work in the morning.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because your opponent says that that's not the case. He worked in your office, and therefore he says it's not what it is. So how do you address him, and how do you address the electorate on this issue?
Frankly, the only time we had an issue was when my opponent worked in my office. If we look at currently who are endorsing me, he claims that the Public Defenders and District Attorneys Association endorse him. That's a bargaining unit of both public defenders and district attorneys. The DAs that voted were outnumbered by the PDs, and so the vote comes out lopsided. In response to that, you'll see on my website that 5 of the district attorneys that work in the office, which is the vast majority of them, have actually written a letter explaining what happened and why it happened, and that they actually do endorse me.
Well, maybe it's a good thing to have the PDs not endorse you. That may be public defenders not endorse you, because that may say something about the success in your office.
I'll tell you, that's an endorsement in itself. When the public defenders and the defense attorneys are, working against me, it's because we have an adversarial system, and we take that seriously.
So what went wrong in your relationship with Mr. Jennings, who's now running against you? How is it that what he's purporting and what the facts are?
Mr. Jennings hangs his ability to be the district attorney on his trial experience, and because he had a long history in prosecution, I was a little skeptical, because he hasn't had any management experience at all as a prosecutor in a prosecutor's office. But I elevated him up to the position of assistant district attorney, and it became apparent after 9 months that he couldn't make that transition from just a line deputy, a trial deputy. He couldn't interact with other law enforcement chief executives. He had trouble with the city council up in Truckee. He had some issues that he was brash and kind of impulsive. And those aren't the leadership qualities that I was looking for in an assistant district attorney. When you're in that position, you've got a lot of people's lives in your hands. You've got your employees, you've got defendants who you have to treat justly. You have to work collaborative with not only the defense bar in some instances, but with all of the law enforcement agencies, behavioral health department, probation department, the courts, and he just didn't exhibit those capabilities. So.
And finally, I'm interested in that you've been endorsed by a majority of the DAs in your office, but I know that you're also, I was reading, you got a great endorsement from the sheriffs and law enforcement.
The Sheriff's Management Association, it's comprised of 23 of the mid-level managers in the Sheriff's departments, from, I think, captains and lieutenants down to sergeants, endorsed me. Of the voting, there was 19 people there, and they endorsed me unanimously. That means a lot to me. That's a big unit. Those are, sheriffs probably our biggest customer generally. And it's not that, you know, we're the boss of one another, or, you know, we are in cahoots together, but you have to have a legitimate respect and a legitimate working relationship with those people who we have to deal with on a daily basis. And if you can't foster that, then you'll be at a loss to get anything done in Nevada County.